Hello, magic makers, and welcome back to the Metaphysical Apothecary. We are your hosts, Megan and Shannon. We are also known as the Scorpio Sisters, and we are here to explore the mysterious, magical, and the arcane.
So another old myth that also pertains to the power of names is the myth of Isis acquiring the name of Ra. Personally, I don't call Isis when I'm referring to her. I usually call her by as close to the ancient Egyptian name I can get to, which is Ast, A-S-T. What the goddess did, Ast or Isis, depending on how you would like to say it, is that she, at one point in time, had to help heal Ra from some attack or sickness that had befallen him. And in order to do that, Isis actually had to acquire his name to dispel out the sickness and the wounds and the dis-ease that had set into Ra. She used his name in order to force anything that was not in alignment with Ra outside of Ra.
So essentially, she used his name and forced anything that wasn't aligned with that frequency, because disease, either infection or uneasiness, is not actually a part of our identity. It's just something that invades.
Yes. And that's just a good example of how we can use our name or someone else's name in order to help ease their being from another invasive force, whether it is through trying to help them get better from an actual sickness, or if it's just trying to help them get more comfortable in a situation.
Yeah. Both of these stories from mythology are excellent examples of ways in which names can be used. And very often we use names every single day in extremely positive ways. We use pet names for each other. We'll assign nicknames to people when we develop a level of vulnerability and intimacy with them that warrants that kind of familiarity. Talked about my cat Simon and his gigantic ears and his loud voice and his ability to listen to his mama's tones and everything. We very rarely called him Simon. He had a million different names. I'm sure anyone out there who has an animal under their guardianship can relate to this. They were all affectionate. Baby, Bug were just two, and he responded to all of them because he knew when we were putting that vibration out there, we were showing him affection, we were showing him love, and we were applying that to his energy, and he soaked it up. He drank it in. We can do the same thing with the people around us. My wife and I, similarly, rarely call each other by name unless we need to get each other's attention. And I also have nicknames for each other. But this is a really beautiful example of the way that we can use names to actually shape the world around us and manifest what we want to see in others and even what we want to see in our surroundings. Anyone who's read Anne of Green Gables or watched the show Anne with an E understands how this works.
Mm-hmm.
Anne Shirley was an orphan with an extremely fanciful spirit, and she saw the world in these glorious, extraordinary terms. And many times throughout both the book and the television show, she actually takes offense on behalf of places that are named with underwhelming titles, and she takes it upon herself to say, well, I'm not going to call it that. I'm going to call it the Lake of Shining Waters because it's special and it deserves to have a special name.
Mm-hmm.
She superimposed this glorious fantasy veneer over her entire life and built her world that way.
I know I've done that more than once. The healing place of waters.
Okay.
And it's called Kids Falls. And it was never Kids Falls to me. It was the place of healing waters.
Yeah.
It just never felt right. It was like, that's a silly name. Why would you name a place that? These are not children. These are not baby goats. I don't get it.
Why did you choose the name Place of Healing Waters?
That's where I would go to heal when I had sunburns, whether or not it was intentionally going or we were just going there as part of the summer fun. I would get burned because it was summer, and we would end up at that particular waterfall ponds, and every time I dunked in, I felt like my skin was healing.
That's pretty incredible. So do you think the quality came from the name, or did the name come from the quality of the healing that you felt?
The name came from the quality of the healing I felt.
Okay.
So it became the place of healing waters. I never really understood where my parents were saying, oh, we're going to go to Kids Falls. And I would never understand where we were going until we got there. I was like, oh, we're going to the place of healing waters. Here! Especially as a child, you can associate names with places really very well because that's just how you live. Oh, we're going to this park. Oh, I know that park. I associate that park with this fun roller coaster or this fun memory in my memory bank. Every time they said the name, it never stuck. And I would be literally surprised every time we ended up at this place because they never called it what I felt it was supposed to be called.
Right.
And now that is the picture that I have in my mind when I'm pulling up healing energy. I pull up the image of the place with healing waters. I take the colors that I use to project healing energy into myself from that place, from that memory, and from that energy source of the place of healing waters.
So that's an example too of you taking that frequency with you and using it to your benefit in energy work when you're trying to manifest something.
Mm-hmm.
Our group of magical friends in college did a similar thing with Stone Place. It was this very random stone tower built into a hillside with stairs going into it. It was rectangular. It had 4 windows, 2 narrow and 2 large. And then there were stairs going up the mountainside from it.
Mm-hmm.
We absolutely no idea what the history of this structure was. But to us, it was Stone Place because it was a sacred place.
Yeah, it was also the entrance to a place that we would go to elevate our magic, our magical awareness as well.
It was amplified there for sure.
Yeah. The power of naming and the power of names themselves is a very functional magic tool to have in the toolkit. Once you understand that it can be applied to so many different things, whether it's aligning your energy to its most authentic self, to dispel any invasive and uncomfortable forces, or to protect you from malicious or hungry entities that would just rather have a quick and easy meal. I'm raising your fear levels by adapting or adopting different entities. Names really have the power to do a lot for you.
Mm-hmm. In addition to everything else we talked about, if you ever do fear something, if something is causing you pain or you're experiencing other negativity, try giving that sensation a name, just a random name, and then see if you can command it. Command if you have a specific fear of public speaking and you name that fear Bob. You can say, Bob, I don't need you right now. Go away. Leave me alone. And you've given form and frequency to that fear, thus given it substance that you can command and control.
Mm-hmm. I think that's something I'm going to have to try with my imposter and critic inner demons.
Mm-hmm. Try it with my anxiety.
So that is the end of this podcast about the power of names and the functionality of that magic. We hope that we were able to give you some sparks of inspiration and that you enjoyed the topic. If you would like to continue the conversation, please comment on our Instagram post and check us out on our Pinterest feeds, on our Facebook page, on our blog, and comment here on whatever podcast listening application you're using. We will be back again on March 20th, and until then, have a magical time. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
That's all we have on the topic for today. Thank you so much for listening in, and we hope you'll join us again next time. In the meantime, you can follow us on our blog for some more witchy wisdom, as well as check out some of our original art on Society 6 for sacred decor and more. Thank you again for joining us, and go make some magic and live your best life. Bye.
Bye, everyone.